Hello. In this video, we look at Ratana Sutta, verse 11. Kinchapi kamma karoti papakang kayena vacha udacheta va abhabbosu tassapati chadaya abhabbata ditthapatasya vutta idampi sanghe ratanam panitang etena satchena suvattihutu. And I'll read it with the text up. Kinchapi kamma karoti papakang kayena vacha udacheta va abhabbosu tassapritchadaya abhabbata ditthapadassa vutta idampi sanghe ratanam panitang etena satchena suvatti hotu. So kinchapi, literally and what, even. In an earlier verse, we saw this phrase meaning however. Here it means whatever, because the kin qualifies papakang kamma, or evil deed. So, what evil deed does he do would be king papakang kamma karoti. But here, kinchapi means whatever. Kinchapi kamma, whatever deed. So kinchapi papakang kamma karoti, whatever papaful, whatever evil deed he does. So, kinchapi sukamma karoti papakam, whatever evil deed he does. Kayena vacha udacheta sava, by body, by speech, or by mind. The uda is another way of saying, it's less common, it's another way of saying va. It could have said kayena vacha va, chetasa va, or just kayena vacha uda chetasa va. These are just different ways of saying or, whether by one or the other, or the other. In the notes, I've done an explanation of the form vacha. It's worth just pausing for a moment on that. So this is whatever evil deed he does by body, speech, or mind. By body, kayena, we've got our familiar ena ending kaya, body, kayena, by body, so that's sinning by body. Vacha chetasa, these are the instrumental forms of the consonantal declension. Let me explain. Have we got the? Where's my iPad? Here we are. So in Sanskrit Vedic / Sanskrit, we have the root vach, meaning to say or to speak. That's the one that turns up in Latin as vox or vox. It comes into English as vocal. La voce in Italian, la voix in French, voice in English. It makes its verbal noun. There are several different ways of making a verbal noun. Vachana is one of them. But also we have one that's still monosyllabic with the lengthening of the R. So vach, meaning speech. Now this is the stem form. In Sanskrit, a word, being used as part of a sentence rather than as a grammatical abstraction, cannot end in a ch. So the nominative form, this is the stem form, vach. The nominative form is vak. Now let's make it instrumental. Where you for the consonantal declension, that's where the stem form ends in a consonant, vak. For the instrumental, you simply add a long a. But you add it to the stem form, so because it's now got a consonant after, now got a vowel after it, it can revert to being what it, so to speak, wants to be. It's a stem form of vach, so vacha. It's actually a feminine word, and the accusative vacham, and the locative vachi. In Pali, this word, as Pali tends not to like, or tends to avoid consonantal stems. Not completely, but it will often add a vowel. So, for example, in Pali, it's got now your feminine singular form vacha. It looks identical with the Sanskrit instrumental form vacha, but this now is a nominative, so it goes vacha, vacham, vachaya, and so on, vachayam. So it declines in Pali um, like an ordinary feminine noun ending in a. Now, in Pali, the instrumental would be instrumental of a noun ending in a long a would be vachaya, and that's what we normally see. However, especially in poetry, the instrumental can drop off the final ya and just become vacha. So when that happens, it actually looks like the nominative. You find that, I think I'm right in saying that you find that only in poetry, probably done just to save a syllable. It's a liberty that the Pali poets can take that would not be allowed in Sanskrit. So vacha then, we know that it means by speech. However, it could be a Sanskrit survival in Pali, and there are some that just use a Sanskrit form, even though it might not be native to Pali. So it could be a survival of the pure Sanskrit form vacha, the instrumental of the consonantal stem vach, or it could be a shortened form of the instrumental vachaya. So it's impossible to tell just by looking at the verse which one it is, but we know that it is the instrumental. One way or another, we know that it's the instrumental, meaning by speech. Similarly, with chetasa, let me call this up, the chetasa here, chetasawa, in Sanskrit, it's from our root chit, and in Sanskrit you have chetas. It's one of an important group of mostly neuter nouns ending in stem as, neuter nouns indicating mostly verbs of action. So in the consonantal declension, in the consonantal declension, it makes no difference whether it's masculine, feminine, or neuter. You're going to find the instrumental is always a. That's how it ends for the consonantal stems, whatever gender it belongs to. So chetasa by thought. So kayena by body, vacha by speech, chetasava or by thought. Abhabboso tassa pratichadaya. So we had abhabba in the previous verse, meaning incapable. So abho abhabboso, incapable he. Incapable is he. Tassa patichadaya, of the hiding of it. Um, what this basically means is that once you have reached the stage of the vibhavana, the bringing into being, or really seeing the Four Noble Truths, once you've reached that stage, you become a stream enterer. You are able to. Sorry, I got builders here. I'll just pause for a moment. Yeah, hello. Sorry, I just had an interruption there because I've got builders in the house. I'm trying to remember where I was. Unfortunately, I'm not sure on this system whether I can wind back, find out where I got, and then resume the recording. I'm not sure if I can do that, so I'll just try to remember where I was. We were talking about abhaboso tassa patichadaya. So abhabbo, he is incapable. Now the abhabba, um, if you're incapable of doing something, you mostly find that with the infinitive, as we had in the last verse or verse or two ago, abhabbo, katum, incapable of doing, literally incapable to do. Instead of the infinitive, you can also use the dative of a verbal noun. So we've got patichada from the root chad, meaning to hide, patichada, keeping something hidden. So abhabbo patichadaya, he is incapable, literally, to the hiding, means he's incapable of hiding, of the hiding of it, the tassa, meaning the fact that he's become a stream enterer, the fact that he has realized the Four Noble Truths. So abhaboso, incapable is he, patichadaya, to the hiding tassa, of it. He just can't hide it anymore. He can't keep it. He can't keep it out of himself. And so the patichada, both the hiding and pretending it doesn't exist. So the adjective abhabba, incapable, and here we have the abhabbata, incapability. In fact, the ending ta is probably cognate with the Latin ending itas, from which we get the English ending ity with the ity, able, ability. So this inability, the abhabata, vutta means said, meaning is said to be, dittapadassa, of one who has seen that state, one who's experienced that state. That's the state of the stream entry. So we've just been looking at vach, and so let me give you the iPad again. We've just been looking at vach and vach. Here we are. From that same root vach, we get so from the root vach, we want to make a past participle, so we would add ta. You can't have a ch plus a t, so that would become vakta, vachtat, vakta, but even yet it's not a genuine word, because in fact in Sanskrit it is ukta. What happens is in Vedic, you had the udatta, you had a raised tone or a stress on the last syllable, not a long vowel, still short, but say vakta. And what happens is that where you get a syllable with a va, and the same can happen with ra and ya as well, occurring before a stressed syllable, it can soften to an u. So vakta becomes ukta. Now, what happens in Pali, you would expect that to be utta, ukta to utta, but in Pali the V comes back, so it is vutta, and that accounts for this form vutta here, meaning is said. It's quite often used, it means something is said to be, or generally said to be, generally held to be. So the abhabbata, the incapability, Vutta is said, meaning is said to be of the Dittapadasa. So it is said that the Dittapada, that the seen state of the one who has seen that state, who has or experienced that stage, is that the inability is said to be of him. In other words, you could gloss it as saying that this inability to hide the fact or to go back from, to pretend it never happened, as it were. This inability is said to be natural to, or to belong to. That's the force of the genitive here. This inability is said to be natural to belong to be of the seen stage, the one who has seen that state or stage. So what I will do, and just pause again. Sorry, another interruption with the builders. I think we'd pretty much come to the end of the explanation. So I'll read it once more and then we'll wind up this video. Kinchapi kamma karoti papakang kayena vacha udachetasa va abhabboso tassa patichadaya abhabbata dittapadassa buddha idampi sanghe ratanam panitang etena satchena suvatti hotu. And that's all on this video.